What you need to do is be thankful for the life you got, you know what I'm saying?
They send pressure. They feel the evades. In trouble. Stiff arm. Throws. How did he do it in the first down?
Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line. And the ball's caught. It's a miracle. It's Brown. Oh, my goodness. This town is going crazy.
Goff protected. Another completion. Another short one. Bouncing off the tackle is Montgomery. What a catch and run. Still going.
Welcome everyone to What's the Play. I am Cory, joined as always by my lovely co-host Lucas. Lucas, how are you tonight?
I'm sentimental. I say that every time I get on here, but we're really at the end now.
Yeah, we've officially reached Super Bowl weekend here. It's very sad. I was watching that video with maybe a little tear in my eye almost, you know. I know you and I
have the last few times, but today, yeah.
I'm not some cool videographer or whatever, but, you know, I watched that video and just think, you know, kind of started something pretty cool here, you and I really enjoyed doing this with you and ready to
definitely
do it, you know, the rest of the summer or whatever, you know. Maybe it won't be as frequent as shows. I'd like for us to try and keep a semi-schedule if we can. Teach people some other stuff, go off topic or whatever. But like I said, It's Super Bowl weekend, and how are you feeling going into the last game of the season?
Yeah, I don't think either of us have too many bets on Sunday. I only have one play right now, a little bit of a ladder play. I think you might like that one too, but I don't think we have too many plays. Maybe we can try to come up with some kind of fun parlay to end the season.
I know
things we like maybe.
I know there is I actually saved it specifically for you and I. There's the FanDuel no sweat bet, I believe.
I don't think I got one.
Oh, really?
That was one thing I was going to talk about. I thought we could kind of recap the season and share anything we thought we learned. And I don't get the promos like I used to after tight end day.
Yes.
I can see if I got it now, but I don't even think I have it on FanDuel.
I just checked today, and that's where I had it, was the no sweat bet. And then I had a 50%
boost.
Well, what is this boost? Oh, that's actually a shit boost. I don't want to use that, but I do have the no sweat bet. But
I do have the no sweat, but
yeah, terrible max
take
refund.
A boost.
50% on Casey Mahomes or
I don't care for that one.
Yeah. So. Anyways, how do you want to attack tonight? Do you want to go over the Super Bowl first, or do you want to kind of recap and then make our way into the Super Bowl?
I thought we could recap the season. We were kind of doing that a little bit before we went live here.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Season for me could not have started off much worse, I don't think. I had the worst betting day I've ever had, Sunday of week 1. Just about every single bet lost. It was demoralizing. I think it was down 18 units that one day, a minus 18 unit day. And the Thursday night game, the opening kickoff game, Ravens and Chiefs was so good. Packers and Eagles and Brazil was so good for me. And then Sunday week 1 was just awful, to say the least. I tried to start the season off with a bang, and I did, you said, but not in a good way. I really put myself in a hole. I tried to, start the season with a bang, and I kind of had to play catch up the rest of September and October, and I don't think it was until week 5 that I was back into the green for the season.
Yeah. So actually, like you said, we were talking about this prior to actually starting the stream. So that's why I was like, oh, this is good content. Let's not waste it all.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things, I think, because the way that you started out with the NFL was exactly how I started out with college football, where we dug ourselves this nasty hole, and it's very demoralizing. you know you're better than that. You feel like you let people down, and then
Definitely.
and then you come back from it. You dig yourself out of this fucking hole, but it just never feels like it's a successful season when you start going in the wrong direction. And
Yep.
I don't know. It's just really hard to feel good when you know that what you're doing is the right thing. And like we were talking, I was joking with you. The only reason up until tight ends day, or right after tight ends day, that I was actually ahead of you in unit count was because where you had gone down, I more or less just went sideways. You know, I think before we kicked off here, I think I ended September at -1 unit. So September 30th, I was at -1 unit. So I essentially, pushing my food around on my plate all of September, not really getting ahead at whatever. I got as low as -1.2 and then got as high as 7. So, I thought I was starting to pick up steam there towards the end of September, and then kind of started falling off a little bit just to fall back essentially even, which was very annoying. And then didn't really feel like I got going until like that week in October where both you and I hit everything essentially. One of the best betting weekends of my life. So
yeah, had a couple fun weekends in October, late October.
Yep. So I'm looking back at my Excel sheet because I kind of like to keep track a little in more detail with an Excel sheet, which is essentially by day. But I'd go up 4 units one week, then I'd lose 2, up 2, lose 4, up 3, -3. So it wasn't like week 8 there was the one where we both crushed.
Yeah.
So man, what a great week that was. And then I followed it up with a -5.5 unit loss. So ever since tight ends weekend, again, I just kind of more or less went sideways. I didn't feel like I was really picking up a lot of steam. I kind of dipped down. You could call it a slight regression, and then started going back up and then slid back down and just sideways the whole rest of the year here, where I don't know. I just thought I had better reads, I guess. I don't know. We can. I think we should probably get into that. Maybe what we think went wrong with our plays this season, or things that we're going to try and do to improve moving forward for everyone that watches, and which we appreciate you doing so. So we're trying to do the best we can for everyone here.
Well, it's easy for me to see where things went wrong. Week 1 is always the toughest week, I think, to bet. I've had, I think, 3 losing week 1s in my 4 seasons betting. Honestly, maybe 4 losing week 1s, but
yeah,
week 1 is tough because, the books literally have months to perfect the lines and get them exactly where they're supposed to be. Not that the lines are soft in the NFL any kind of week, but when the books literally have months to get the lines exactly where they're supposed to be, and you're kind of guessing a little bit because there's new coaches, new coordinators, new personnel everywhere, and I definitely would have recommended I went light week 1. I generally say I'd try to do that, start the first couple weeks light because you're learning so much, but I didn't take my own advice. I found so many bets I liked. It was Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, and man, of course, just about everybody I lost that day, but
yeah,
man, I had some heartbreaking losses, and there were a few 2-unit plays. I like to play so much. I spent months thinking about them, and next season I'm maybe 5 units risk max week 1 Sunday. I'm taking it very light. I'm taking my own advice next year.
So here's something to kick around too. You were saying that you had a lot of volume this last week 1.
Yeah.
Do you think it's so much volume, or do you think maybe were you okay with the volume, or maybe you should have just cut your units in half until, I don't know, like week 3 or something?
I was fine with it, but I know that a lot of people were telling me maybe for the first time, and that's not the way you want to start at the season. I'm sure a lot of people lost confidence in me, and I had to regain that confidence over the rest of the season. And that's tough if you have that shitty of a day to try to regain the confidence. So you lose so many money the first time, they might not trust you again. And
Yeah.
to say the least, that's not how one of the seasons started. I mean, I was fine personally risking that many units, but
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody.
The only reason I asked is because you said that, the 3 out of the 4 years, you didn't have very good week ones, whatever that means to you personally,
I mean, I think that's significant because I think you do have to guess a little bit week one and first 2 weeks of the season. I don't think I guess very often, even though we're technically guessing with sports betting. And I feel like early in the season, you have to learn how these teams have adjusted, and you can do your best to guess. But
that's why I wonder if it was. That's why I wonder if it would almost be beneficial to just cut the units in half week one. You could still have the volume if you want, because I guess the point you're trying to make is a valid one, which is you wait months for football and then it comes, and it's really hard to lay off these things.
I mean, that's what I try to preach. I just didn't listen to my own advice this past season.
Yeah, you've had months to think about these plays, these games. You're excited. Everyone's excited.
Yeah.
You're getting promos at the ass. And then see,
that's part of it. Yeah, the promos.
Yeah, that is really how they get you. Yeah, that's really how they get you. Do you remember the first month there? You and I were texting and we're like, I'm like promoed out. Like I remember we literally said we were promoed out. We were every week.
I didn't know what to do with all these no sweats and all these profit boosts, and I think I let some of them to waste just because I didn't know what to use them on. I had so many boosts to use.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know I did. Week one, I remember I was trying to be really strict about not betting something because that's really
side of football's back.
Yeah, that's how DraftKings and FanDuel and all these books really, really kind of reel you in there, is because you and I, the way that we attack these lines are you're thinking about them as the week is coming, and the lines come out and you're like, bang, that is a line that I like. It's in line with my thinking, any type of stats that you have to back it up. So you jump on that line. And generally what's happening, especially in those first few weeks or whatever, where they're just like bombarding you with these promos, is I remember we were attacking these lines early, getting really great CLV, but then we get these promos and you're like, well, fuck, how can I let this go? Well, you can't just go
waste no sweater.
Yeah. You're not going to rebet the same thing that you just bet, because laying twice the amount of money or whatever on something you've already bet that's just bad for business. That's not very smart. So then essentially what I felt personally was I felt like I was searching for something to just use the promo on.
Well, I'm sure I did week one, especially.
Yeah.
With so many different promos, and you don't want to waste a 50% profit boost. I mean, why not?
Yeah. They
around for a few minutes. You're definitely going to find something. Even if you've already put in all the bets you like, you can find something to use that boost on.
Yeah, and the problem is
their goal
the problem is by the time they've left, or by the time they drop those promos, it's like Saturday, right? So the lines have already adjusted. You're not getting great value now. So now you're having to alt shit up and down, or what? Well, not really down, because they don't really do that in NFL. But you have to alt them, and then you're like searching for these other legs to make it more worth it. Which, if you're like an EV person, like if you care about that, you're getting terrible expected value, to be honest, but it doesn't really matter to you or I. We're out to pick winning bets. So I just felt like that they reeled me in, and to be honest, they really got me too, because they did something they don't really ever do for me, which is they upped the amount of money I was able to bet on these promos. Like I was able to bet a full unit.
They did early in the season for me.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, you can bet fucking $200 or $100. And I was like, well, $100 is a full unit for me. So hell yeah. I'm not going to waste that. Now it's like they're back down to $5 or $10 on a promo.
And back down to 25. I started at 50, then went to 100. Now I'm back to 25.
Yeah. So
I was going to ask about after tight ends day, because for me, I'm sure for a lot of people too. I mean, I saw some people with like regular SGP boosts. I got like 3 of those after tight ends day. I was getting that to catch a pass boost, which I don't care for. Then I was getting live profit boost, which I don't care for. I lost just about every single live profit boost, which is their goal, giving you the live boost, because you have to make an impulse decision. And, you don't want to waste the boost. You got a live 40% profit boost, 30% profit boost. And live
Yeah,
betting can definitely be. I mean, live betting you can definitely have great advantages live betting, but when you're trying to force a live bet, you're probably going to lose that, which is what happened with just about every one of those live bets I put in.
Yeah.
To catch a pass boost, those things I lost. I think every single one of those.
Yeah.
What an
I'll
awful
say
promo, which was great for FanDuel.
I'll say I was a lot better personally. I felt at not using those because I know I
mean, I tried, yeah.
Yeah, you were trying to use them. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fucking try because I just knew I understood what they were doing to me, and I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna fall for it because I don't know. I just didn't. It wasn't. First off, it wasn't really a market I ever looked at, anyways. So I don't know. I didn't feel good to me, but I also felt bad letting that boost go to waste, as you said. So
Well, there you go.
yeah.
50% profit boost. You're staring at it. You want some kind of boost. You want some kind of action on the game. Of course, you're going to watch the game and you find some few bets you like.
Yep.
But it's
So
always been like that. I feel like every season the promos and no sweats and all that, it's kind of decreases throughout the season. And by the time you get to November, December, you're not going to have very many boosts, especially compared to like first couple weeks of the season. But it was way more drastic this season with tight ends day.
yeah.
Because FanDuel doesn't get smacked very often, but that day they really got smacked. So some kind of meeting happened that Monday after tight ends day. They talked about something at FanDuel. We're going to fix the promos. We're going to give these shitty live boosts and the catch a pass boost. We're not going to give the touchdown boost that everybody wants, the SGP boost.
Yep. Maybe
that was another huge big turning point for me because it wasn't fun betting on the NFL because I feel like, especially when you get to that point in the season, it's a lot tougher to find value with an SGP, and you don't even have a boost for it. So, especially with I feel like the SGP odds are. I'm sure they definitely have gotten worse over the last couple of seasons. You have to add a couple touchdown scores, have to add a couple crazier legs than you would have to in the past, and you don't get a profit boost. It's just for a whole bunch of combinations. I feel like November, December kind of is not fun to bet.
I think the thing that I noticed the most in like SGP stuff was the difference between like a 10-yard difference, right? Where I feel like last year, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I felt like, especially with running backs, right, where you could go like, let's say 40, 50, 60 or whatever. Let's say the dude's line was 60-ish yards, right? Or 63. And then you could do 60 and it would be pretty close value-wise to his original line. So maybe it was minus 180 or something. If you go 10 yards less than that, you're talking roughly in the 200s. Let's call it 250 on a good play, right? Last year, I felt like the next 10 below, you were looking at 300-ish, like 360. I feel like where the change has been this year, personally, is that 10 more, like the 20 less off the line, they're in the 400s. They've dropped them even more. So now you're forced to try and pick up one more leg in these plays just to try.
I think you're definitely right.
Yeah, just to try and get something, because you and I are perfectly fine in the minus 120, minus 110 play, where I think that's where a lot of people go wrong in these parlays or like the SGPs is if they parlay something and they don't see plus odds, they're like, oh, that's shit. Need to add another leg.
So that's very, very true.
Yeah. I was very guilty of this when I first started, where when I was doing parlays, if it wasn't plus odds, I was like, oh, that's dog shit. What am I doing? So I'd try and add something else or whatever. Or maybe I'd change one of the legs slightly to make it plus, just to make it plus odds, but it was more
Add an
risky.
extra 10 yards.
Yeah, like,
Add an extra reception or 10 yards.
Yeah, something ridiculous. Or the thing that I probably was the most guilty of, I'm not trying to pick on anyone here, but like Calling Our Shots does this all the time, where he'll add like some minus 1,000 thing. And you're like, oh, it's minus 1,000. It's not going to miss. Surely it won't miss, right?
Well, if we're talking about buildings, we could be on here for a little bit longer, but I generally try not to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I really, really see value in the 40 plus compared to a 50 plus line or something like that.
Yeah. So
sometimes that extra 10 yards can be very, very significant. especially the way props have changed this season. I'm sure you were probably going to say something about that too, because the prop game has definitely changed over the last. Betting on NFL props is way different than it was even.
Oh yes,
probably last season.
Yeah,
I mean, if you compare it to 3 seasons ago, it's a night and day difference.
Yep.
Just with how props have gotten so popular and Props.cash and all these research platforms have grown the game. People love betting on props, and it's a night and day difference compared to what it was 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, and they reel a lot of people in who don't understand, in my opinion, and not to their fault, but like NFL is, and you preach this, every day, all the time, is, you can spit all the stats out you want on, this guy's fucking reached 40 yards every, 7 of the last 10 games. Well, doesn't really matter, right? There's a lot to be taken.
I think in baseball, I think it's kind of the opposite, betting baseball compared to betting NFL.
Yeah. If you have
Props.cash, and they're a huge resource for me, but I feel like analyzing the data, it's kind of the opposite with baseball. I feel like baseball might be like 80% data, maybe 20% data in the NFL. I feel like it's kind of more ball knowledge, to say the least. I feel like you kind of have to understand this game situation and understand what happened last week. Are there injuries? Is this a must-win game? Is it a divisional game? Things like that.
Narratives.
Quite as easy as like in baseball. Oh, this guy hits 380 against fastballs, and this pitcher loves throwing fastballs, something like that.
Yep.
It's definitely not the same in NFL, and I kind of see that. I don't necessarily agree with it. Like, oh, this receiver does so good against zone defense or man defense, and it could be significant. I feel like it's definitely very, very different when you compare like baseball with NFL, and especially with the way props have changed over the past couple of seasons.
Yeah,
something like 3 seasons ago, like there's just no broken lines anymore. Like 3 seasons ago, you could bet the same player, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's at like 52.5 yards for 8 weeks straight. Like he was hitting his receiving line like every single week.
Yeah,
that just doesn't happen anymore. They would adjust the line after a week or two.
Yeah,
like there's some of these rookies, like they had very low lines in September, but it took them. Like Bucky Irving was at like 25.5 yards, like all September, and of course he was hitting it, but it took him a few weeks, and they fixed his line. He wasn't like a broken line. Like there used to be a lot of broken lines like that.
I think
they adjusted that. You don't have that.
The problem is that the top end guys that are the more popular dudes, their lines aren't.
What the fuck is this line?
Yeah, they're not really broken, right? They're probably overinflated. Where you're like, I think Marvin Harris Jr. is probably a good example, right? Where his line, the first few weeks,
a good example,
was quite inflated, and I think you and I both fell for that. And we're like, oh yeah, huge get for them. Gonna be their number one target. Blah blah blah. All these things you want to spit out, and while on the surface they were true, it's still. They still played us, like a fiddle, where they're like, yeah, we know that too, but we also know he's a rookie and it's going to take some time getting accustomed to playing against grown fucking men. So, that's
I bet him week one. I just saw that.
Yeah.
They had like 47.5 yards or something crazy week one, and he didn't hit it. But man, people saw that 47.5. That number should be in the 60s.
Oh yeah. They were thinking 60s.
That line opened like, it grew like 10, 15 yards because everybody bet it, of course, but
of course,
man, that's a great example right there.
Yeah. So
what the fuck is this line? It's 47.5. He's might be a top 10 receiver already in the NFL. That line was like great example.
I think for next year, that's probably something I need to do a better job of not really falling for, I guess, is like these top receivers. Their line probably being overinflated. Like, I think I should be afraid not to play the under there. Like, especially let it blow up.
That's one thing that definitely, yeah.
Because like we said, they're 22-year-old young men going against 28, 29 grown men who got, grown men strength. And you're going to get the way they get jammed in the NFL is completely different than the way they get jammed in college. A lot of those guys they're so much faster than everyone else in college. They just got free release and, whatever touchdown type shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's just not happening in the NFL. Everyone is very competitive. So, and the skill gaps are so much tighter that it's just not going to happen. So, but I like what you said with Bucky is he's probably maybe like a more middle, like maybe almost under the radar type of guy where you're like 25.
Not anymore, but
no, but you know what I mean? Like at the beginning of the season,
yeah,
right?
in September, yeah.
Yeah.
When he's like 20.5 rushing yards starting the season.
I feel like that's something I want to focus on next year more is try to find those maybe middle of the round guys who you just know a little bit more. Maybe you're seeing the coaches really talk him up. Say, wow, this guy's really been flashing.
That's what I did with Bucky. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Well, you're
Bucks loved him. He was great in preseason, and this is a perfect situation there.
Yeah.
And then he ended up being like 87.5 yards in the playoffs or something crazy, Bucky Irving. But
yeah.
I mean, he's that good. He's already one of the best running backs in the league, and fun player to watch, fun player to bet on.
Yep.
Yeah, but opening the season, I think he was like 18.5 yards maybe week 1.
Yeah.
And he'd increase a little bit, like he'd be like 25.5 by week 3 or something, which would still be too low, but the books definitely adjusted the way they wouldn't have in the past seasons. Not just with Bucky Irving, but with just about every single player. I can't think of many like broken lines like years ago when you could just literally blindly bet a line. Like you can't blindly let a line like that anymore in the NFL, I don't think, where you could have maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Because I have a few examples in my head that I can think of. Like Justin Fields' passing attempts, he went under that in like 10 straight games or something 2-3 seasons ago. I can think of a few of those examples, but you just don't see that anymore.
One
gotten so popular.
One I'm sitting here thinking
about
anymore. One that I'm sitting here thinking about that you or I don't bet just because, well, we just don't, I guess. Not that we're anything against it. It's just that I wonder how many, if there's actually some broken lines still in the defensive area, like where you get like a top linebacker.
That might be the answer right there.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
A line that the player's going to hit like 8 times in a row or something.
Maybe like if you do like tackles
5-6 times in a row until they adjust the line, until they move the line down or up.
Yeah. You get
player at 7.5 tackles where it should be 6.5 or something. I mean, that's not something I've ever thought about, to be honest. I bet like 3 defensive props ever. It's not. I wouldn't know how to approach defensive props. That's a very tough market. Maybe a very easy market, to be honest, if you just look at the data and not even think about it. But the way I break down a game, I can't imagine betting a tackles prop or something like that. I bet some sacks props week 18. That's one of the first times I bet defensive props. That was a fun one. Von Miller, a couple of those guys had some money on the line.
Yeah,
that's different than like a 7.5 tackle that should be 6.5 tackles, or 5.5 when it should be 6.5, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that might be might be onto something there with that.
Yeah, I just wonder because defense is really hard to get a good kind of read on, anyways. But like, I'm just wondering, like, if you just knew a guy was like a beast in defense or on defense in college, and you were like, I'm trying to think of someone who maybe filled a big void this year defensively. I'm not really getting anyone, but I don't know. Like, you'd really want to kind of focus in on probably linebackers or safeties, to be honest, because safeties are going to come down and run support a lot. So that you could get assists there. So you could do
that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I just something as we're sitting here spitballing, I just think that might be something I want to maybe look into next year. Is like, hey, this guy was fucking good on defense. Like, and they're filling on a team who really had defensive problems. Like, might be a good spot. So, because I don't really know anyone that, like, I know like maybe one guy, I guess, I've seen on X that bets defensive props, I guess, frequently, but it might be a spot where
Well,
the
that's
line's
interesting.
still broken. So yeah, those are all good ideas, though. I think the one thing that I've taken away from this that I might do is half units the first week. Probably, the problem is if you have a great first week, you're like, oh fuck, if I had about full units, I'd have been up more. But you can't think like that.
That messed me up.
Yeah,
Found
it
so many
messed me.
bets I like. Some of them
Yeah.
are 2 units. Yeah, so that's
yeah.
easy way to see where the season went wrong for me. Not that it went wrong. I'm at 47.4 units in the NFL right now. And we're going to talk about the futures too.
Yeah, let's just get into that. So
both of us aren't.
We've kind of discussed some things we want to try and target for next year for improvements with, yours is just lower volume. Mine is probably going to be same volume, half units, maybe look at some different markets with tackles and things. And then maybe also try to find more mid-range guys who are probably a little lower under the radar and not try and tag some of those higher round guys and fall for the boosts and things. But why don't you go ahead? That's kind of a good segue. Just get into the units that, while you were down in September, you've obviously come storming back, and then kind of just tell us where you're at now. Break that down.
Let's see if I can get my chart up from the NFL. Oh, that's last season. Last season was plus 54 units, but I had $50 units, got $100 units this season. But man, September was absolutely awful. Let's see. I finished September at minus 11 units. October was very, very good. Hit a few very nice parlays. Week before tight ends day was at Justin Jefferson one. That's probably my favorite moment of the whole season. That was
the
euphoria of that touchdown. That's when I was comfortably back in the green. I think I was back in the green about week 5 or something. But when Jefferson scored and the Discord was going crazy, and I'm comfortably back in the green where I can kind of do what I want to do. Because September I was definitely very cautious. There's a few games I can think of where I definitely wanted to attack it differently, but I chose not to because I didn't want to throw out too many units, and I could have done whatever I wanted, to be honest, but I know people were telling me some for the first time, and I had to be cautious and really inch my way back unit by unit. But when Jefferson scored that touchdown, that was, I think, number one moment of the season for me.
Yeah.
And the week after that, we both hit a couple monster tight end parlays. That was that 2-week stretch, probably the most fun stretch of the season. So I finished plus 24 units or plus 20 units. Yeah, after in October. So October was a very, very good month. But then November really just evened out in November. And end of December was very good. But 10 units in December, and then that's when the futures started piling up. So I got plus 19 units just with futures. And it could have been even more than that. I could have had a monster future. I could have been closer to 40 units if 49ers made the playoffs, and
their whole
Panthers,
team
they were supposed to lose week 18. That was a bigger unit swing for me, but plus 19 units on futures. I'm very, very happy about that. Spent a lot of time over the summer on futures, and it paid off. Plus 19 units on futures. I'm very, very happy about that.
How many
unders? A lot of these bets just about every bet I won was an under.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I added to my list. I need more unders, especially the season-long ones, because you don't ever want to bank on an injury, but a lot of these plays won because of an injury.
The biggest
NFL, you have to account for injuries, and injuries, of course, lose a lot of plays. But if you bet the under, you never wish for an injury, but definitely helps.
Yeah, the one that
Deshaun Watson, Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, Deshaun tearing his ACL was
that one. I didn't quite exactly feel bad about that one.
I was gonna say that's where I was going with that one. Is I didn't feel bad about that guy fucking tearing his ACL.
That didn't hurt my feelings. I mean, he was going to go under his yards anyway for the season. He was absolutely awful, but yeah, I didn't exactly. I would never wish an injury on any player, but I didn't feel bad about that one.
Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. The one that was probably the sharpest play that never even got to cash, that got void, was JJ McCarthy.
Oh, that's the biggest bet I've ever made in my life.
Oh yeah,
right now, but
Full transparency,
That was
I put damn near $1,000 on that fucker.
That's as confident as I've ever been in a bet in my life.
Yeah.
That could have been a
Just
100
so everyone
unit play.
knows,
That could have been
yeah,
bet the entire account.
I bet $850 on that.
I've never been so confident in a bet in my life.
Yes, and my unit's $100, so I put 8.5 units on that. I
think I had 6 units on it.
Yeah, when you text me that, I was like, I have never been more confident in a fucking under in my entire life.
Well, I remember texting you about it beforehand. I said, I have a future I really, really like. This might be one of the most confident bets I've ever had. And you said something like, oh, I don't really care for futures, but what is it? I said, J.J. McCarthy under 3,100 passing yards, something like that.
Yeah.
He's not going to be starting week 1. He might not even be starting the entire season.
Here's the thing.
I mean, he probably might have got he would have got action if he didn't get injured. He would have got some mop-up duty or something.
If he doesn't get injured, how many yards do you think he finishes with? 1,000?
Like
maybe?
Well, not even 1,000. He probably gets a few hundred.
Yeah.
I'm sure he gets some mop-up duty in a blowout or something, but
yeah.
I don't think Sam Darnold got injured the entire season. I think he started every game. But I mean, he would have taken some snaps so he wouldn't void if he didn't tear his meniscus.
They had a few blowout games.
It would have gone under by over 2,000 yards.
But do you remember the CLV we got on that? By the
2,000
time
yards.
before he got injured, that line had dropped.
I mean, it still didn't even matter. It got down to like 2,600 or something, but
yeah,
he still would have gone under by 2,000 yards.
Yeah,
that's literally a cut your dick off play and cash in January. I've never been so confident in a bet.
That was my.
That just goes to the season.
I've never been sadder about a void my entire life than when he got voided. Yeah. Oh my god,
could have bet the entire account, just not even bet the entire season.
Yeah,
bet the entire account. You're up plus 100 units.
Yeah,
that's how confident I was that bet was winning. That bet never had a chance to win or to lose with the under. I mean, but he never had a chance to go over.
Yeah, and the thing was FanDuel
remotely close to having a chance to go over.
Oh god, yeah. When FanDuel came out with their line and it was in the 2000s, I knew before he got injured. I was like, "This is."
I went back and bet it again twice.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't because I'd already put 850 on it, but I was like, "Oh my god, this is fucking air." And Bet365 adjusted, and they dropped it a lot. 800 some yards or whatever. But like you said, it wasn't even going to matter because he was never going to touch 2,000 yards. Never.
Not even 1,000. I mean, the read was spot on there that Sam Darnold's going to be starting week 1 and he's not going to play his way off the field.
Yeah.
So why rush this 21 or 22-year-old quarterback? There's no reason to play J.J. McCarthy last season.
Yeah. So very sad.
For some mop-up duty.
What was probably, in your opinion, the sharpest one that did cash?
My sharpest bet of the season?
No, future. Sorry, I meant future. Sharpest future that cash.
I can think of my sharpest bet of the season. Man, my Mike Evans, he had 89 yards. So I cashed the 1,000 yards. I cashed the under 100.5, and I had the 80 plus and under 100.5.
Oh yes,
I never felt so sharp in my life. That was
my god,
absolute
holy shit!
read.
I didn't play the under, but I did play the over there.
The 1,000 plus.
1,000 yeah. I didn't play the under on that one, but I played the.
That's my other favorite moment of the season. That was I think my sharpest play of the season.
So we got any Super Bowl ladders? We do actually, and we're about to get there. We just wanted to finish up a recap. So
my sharpest future. Yeah, I had my futures pulled up, plus 19 units on futures. I'm not sure what I expected because both of us don't care for futures. I don't know. It's not the most fun thing ever, and you don't want to have your money tied up for a few months or over the summer. But I spent a lot of time over the summer on futures, and you can I'm pretty sure you can just blindly bet season-long unders and cash, just because there's so many different avenues to cash. With the season-long under, of course, injuries being the big avenue there, but
the only one that wouldn't have paid out for was Jaden Daniels this year.
Well, yeah, you can't just
Jaden
cash
Daniels
every single one, but you can blindly bet every single player under, and I think you can cash like over 60%.
You didn't bet any like player of the year stuff, right? Just they were all season totals.
Well, I don't get those awards in Virginia, so I didn't bet any
Oh
awards.
yeah, that's right.
Like Gardner Minshew, I don't think he ever had a chance to cash. Unfortunately, he got injured. But Patriots under wins. Oh man, Quentin Johnson, that was a huge unit swing, like 6-unit swing there when Quentin Johnson had that monster Week 18 game. So as good as I had with futures, man, it could have been way over 30 units, closer to 40 units, just on futures alone.
Mm-hmm.
Drake May under passing yards, I was very, very close to going over, but the Patriots rested him Week 18. Thank you for that. So the Patriots were very, very good to me this season. Yeah, and then Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr under, Jonathan Brooks under. Those never had a chance to go over, even if they didn't get injured.
Yeah, they were cooked. Yeah, those were cooked from day one.
Yeah, those
right?
lines were just a few hundred yards too high to begin with. When they account for missing games, you have no chance to cash.
Right.
Yeah, so some of these were sharp. Man, I felt great about that. Quentin Johnson, he went over. The Panthers went over Week 18. So, man, as good as the futures were, they could have been almost sweep of those futures.
Yeah.
49ers made the playoffs. Yeah, but Mike Evans, that's the bet that comes to my mind when you say sharpest bet. I feel like
that was actually a filthy bet there.
They had his line at 90.5. You can only bet the 90 plus, and he had 89. So if you waited until Week 18 to bet Mike Evans, I was too late. I was on that. Honestly, I could have bet it a couple weeks before that. 1,000 plus was like plus 750. For that Chargers game, I didn't like that matchup. I thought he was going to fall just a little bit short, but he had a huge game against the Chargers, and then a few easy matchups to end the season. That's when I hopped on it.
Yep.
1,000 plus.
Squeaked over it.
Yeah, but if you waited until week 18, I'd waited till like week 15 or 16. Waited till week 18, you got fucked over there. If you bet 90 plus and you had 89. But I had the under. I liked the under there. And I felt very, very sharp.
Sharp is a damn knife on that one there,
Jefferson, tight ends day, and Mike Evans getting 1,000 yards. My favorite moments of the season.
I'll quickly just spout mine off here. So as I said earlier, I was just because you had such a terrible September, I was actually ahead of you at the end of September, where I finished down 1 unit, and then kind of slowly kind of crept sideways / up a little bit till tight ends day, where same as you, I had a massive day. I think I finished that day like plus 26 units or something ridiculous like that. And, we were talking off stream. It's just the disappointing thing to me was you have such a big day like that. You think, all right, I've fucking locked in. I'm on the up now, and I'm not looking to go parabolic here, right? But I'm looking for a linear, best fit type of line going up from there, not sideways. And unfortunately, essentially what I've done the rest of, end of, or I guess early November to now is kind of just push food around the plate and not really kind of get anywhere. I had a little regression after tight ends day, but then I went back. I reached a new all-time high and then kind of dropped exactly right back down where I was. And just kind of, if this was the stock market, you'd say I traded sideways essentially. Right. And, right now I'm up 31.9 units. So, in my opinion, I had a very disappointing season from where I thought I was going to finish and where I planned to finish. There's obviously the things that we want to talk about. And for me, it's not, I don't have a kind of glaring error in my chart like you do, where you had a bad, week 1 and kind of dug yourself a hole with NFL. I kind of just went sideways. I felt like maybe the bad thing was I would have these really sharp picks, but then I'd, on the other hand, I'd have some dog shit play that would just bring me back down and I'd be sideways right for the day. So disappointing there. There's the things I'm going to try and work on and try and look at a little better for myself. A lot of money I feel like that I left out on the table. You and I we don't bet a lot of lottos, and I know, unfortunately, that is the thing that drives followers, subscribers if you have a Discord or something, but that's just not who we are. But the small amount that you and I bet, we were missing by one leg, and it was probably the most disgusting feeling ever. We leave a Sunday and you had 3 lottos and you missed all 3 by one leg, right? So I don't know those guys who are putting out 10, 15 of those a day, and maybe they're missing the majority.
That's a different conversation. I don't know if we'd have that conversation here today, but
yeah.
I can say some things about that not everybody would be happy to hear.
Yeah. So almost 40 units for me. I wanted to do better, and I'm going to do better next year is my plan. But one thing I didn't do this year that I did a lot last year was I hit I played more live bets last year, I feel like, than I did this year.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe that's the difference between this year and last year for me. So I don't know. Got another question here. I don't know if you guys spoke about it, but Lucas had a huge ladder with Ricky Park.
Oh, that was a fun day, yeah.
Yeah.
I posted that one on Twitter, and a lot of people cashed on Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
That was a sharp one. I like that one a lot, and glad a lot of people cashed that one on Twitter.
Was that right after he came back from his injury, or not his injury? I don't even know if you call that an injury, right? He got shot.
Well, no, he had played a few games before that, but somebody was hurt. Can't even think of it off the top of my head, but
Debo. Oh, was it when not Debo?
I think Debo was still playing. Yeah,
was
Debo
it
was
when
still playing.
Ayuk blew his knee?
No, he got injured before that. Was Juwan Jennings? No, he played. Kittle played. I don't know, but Ricky Pearsall, that was the first game he really got huge action, that Monday night game against the Lions.
I thought that was the game after Ayuk blew his
I'm
ACL.
thinking I thought he got injured a little bit before that. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head why I don't know, but he was starting that game. He got his most action that game. That was his.
Yeah, maybe.
49ers just got eliminated. He's the first or second round.
You're right. It was after they'd been officially eliminated, and I remember you said
I'm sure
it's time to see what the rookie's got.
That's why I did bet it.
Yeah. You said it's time to see what the rookie has, and they did. They fucking passed him the ball like 8 times.
I only bet it only went for like 6+. I think he had like 8+ receptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he cashed a couple more than what the
December 30th.
Yeah, I remember it was against the Lions, that Monday night game.
Yeah.
And maybe nobody was injured. Debo was just kind of underwhelming all season, but
yeah,
that was definitely a top moment of the season. I'm glad a lot of people cashed out on Twitter. People were happy with me on that one. I got a lot of nice messages, and I love cashing out on Twitter like that. I mean, I love cashing out the Discord too, but a lot of the Discord members have been with me for a season or 2 or longer.
Yep.
A lot of people on Discord I know in real life, so they've been with me for 2 or 3 seasons. But
yeah, the only thing I want to touch on before we get to the NFL slate and the plays that we like there is just that with how you kind of started with NFL. I know you and I talked about this off stream or off, before we started, was that I started the same way that you started with NFL, where essentially that first or after September, I was down 12.6 units in college football. And then even the next 2 weeks after that, so that, I had -1, -2.5, and -1. So before it was the middle of October, I was down 17.2 units. And I went on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like a 7 bet. Like those technically weren't weeks, but because there was like obviously some like Tuesday, Thursday games in there, but like
action.
Yeah, the action.
Yeah, so we were talking about college football. That's where things went right for me.
Yeah, I went
college overall, but action.
Yeah, from there till from October 12th to the beginning of November, I absolutely crushed and made almost a lot of it back. I think I was at that point, I'd have been down. Let's see here. I was only down 8 units there. So, I had to battle my ass back, and college football is way harder in the fact that there's not player props, unfortunately. There's player prop. I mean, there are in some states, but in the states you and I live in, in the majority of states, there's not player props. So you're picking a lot of spreads, totals, things like that, first half money line shit. So, I finished the end of November and December with two 5.3 and a 5-unit win there, which kind of propelled me forward. And I essentially finished college football even. It was the total was 0.77. I was down 0.77 units. So really, really disappointing for me. You're not going to make a ton in college football unless you have player props, in my opinion. But digging myself a giant hole like that and able to crawl myself back up to essentially even, I'll take that as a huge win. Am I happy about it? Fuck no. But, I just want to be transparent for the people out there that because we do talk college football on this podcast, that yeah, I'd started off dog shit, and I apologize for that, but we did get back even, and I think I learned my lesson with college football in this NIL situation. You got to lay off or bet half as much the first almost month till these teams kind of show you who they truly are, and you can kind of move forward from there. So, is there really anything you want to add in on college?
I disagree a little bit just because of my experiences with college. I feel like I think all 4 seasons I bet football, I have a really good, like that week 0, week 1 in August, and really good September. And then I just give it all back in October when conference play starts. I feel like I've done that every season. I did that this past season. I started college football off so well. I think I was at like plus 8 units or something, plus 9 units, which is very, very good for me. I was very happy about that with college, but then I gave so much back in conference play, October, November. Then we got the Maction. I did so with the Maction, and for me, I think that once you get to conference play, I feel like it just gets. Well, yeah, Mactions are different. We could talk about Maction, but I think there's definitely a lot of attackable lines, attackable spreads early in the season. But then once you get to conference play, it's just. I mean, every season I bet it's just I give back too much.
You're an absolute Maction animal. It's actually unbelievable how many.
I do love the Maction. Maction's great football. It really is. It's these 3-star kids and half-empty stadiums, and you get rain and snow and wind, and I think it's very entertaining football. It really is. You got some great rivalries, teams that know each other very well. A lot of these kids might have gone to high school together, played each other in high school with some of these kids.
Yeah,
3-star kids that didn't get an offer from Michigan or Ohio State or wherever, and you go to Eastern Michigan or Ohio or wherever. I mean, it really is some great football, the Maction, I think.
Yeah, it's those kids are playing fucking hard as shit, and like you said, they're not really anyone really there. Is. So
yeah, and when you get rain and wind and snow, I think that's just outstanding football.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about Maction is just that they play like on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or something like that, right? Where they know their place, which is fine. They're not the best, so they're saying we'll play on something. Tuesday. Yeah, we want you to watch our football. Here, we'll be on a Tuesday. We'll be on a Wednesday. So I love that.
Watching it on Saturday when there's these great Big Ten SEC games. We'll put it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Y'all watch Northern Illinois and Central Michigan.
Yeah,
it's great football. Exactly. It really is.
Yeah,
and I think that makes it great to bet on because it's not the SEC Big Ten those games that everybody's going to watch necessarily. But
yeah,
I think that's if I would just bet the MAC, I would have had an outstanding college football season.
I think you went like
plus 10 units probably just on the MAC.
Did you go 4 weeks without losing a MAC?
Well, I had an 8 or 9 bet winning streak in the MAC.
Oh yeah, it was that thing.
The entire regular season, I didn't lose an entire regular. Actually, no, I did lose one at the end. Yeah, but I had a great run with the MAC. The MAC is well. That's where it's easy for me to see where my college football season went wrong. One is the futures. I had a -8 or -9 units just on college football futures.
Oh,
I had a very big bet on Virginia Tech over wins, and that was a very, very, very sad loser for me personally, being a Virginia Tech alum. But yeah, no more college football futures. That's the easy way to see where the season went wrong for me. But number 2, and I mean, it's fine if nobody's tailing me. I had a lot of bets, just for fun, just because FanDuel had a boost and the game's on, I'm going to be watching the game. Like, why not throw a bet on? I did that plenty of times. I guess probably in October too. And that's when the season really went wrong for me. That
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's fine
yeah.
if I'm doing it for fun. If you're doing it for fun, like do whatever you want. But when you have people telling me I had too many bets personally where I didn't have an edge, and I'm just kind of throwing something out there just because the game is on, I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, with the Mac, I do feel like I have a good edge on the Mac just because it's kind of a niche market, and now everybody's betting on Eastern Michigan and Bowling Green and these teams. And I feel like I do have. I mean, I watch every one of these action games. I feel like I know these teams well enough to, bet on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, like those marquee matchups and the FanDuel gives a boost. I can say I don't have an edge the way I would with the Mac.
Yeah.
Especially with the NFL. But I mean, sure, if you're betting for fun, do whatever you want. But
Right.
it's easy to see where college football went wrong for me this season.
Yeah.
I only finished like plus 2.8 units or something just because the futures were just a massive hit for me.
They sucked. They sucked a lot of
On the parlays, we had some parlays that were very close, I think.
Yes.
College football playoff parlays.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are fine. I'll do some of those next season, but I'm not betting like win totals or whatever. Things like I did this past season. Virginia Tech was a huge loser, and it sucked for multiple reasons, being a Tech alum. But yeah, with the Mac, I feel like that's where I can narrow down and have a edge on college football.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if I'll just bet the Mac. Maybe I honestly might do that next season.
and they're gonna give you the boost, so might as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but LSU and Alabama or whoever, I don't have a huge edge on that game, but I'll watch it, and FanDuel's got a boost. Why not? Go out and play
Yeah.
for it. So
So
yeah,
we'll,
it's easy to see where I didn't have a good college football season. It's easy to see where that went wrong, and I can make adjustments for next year.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was good to do. Like we said, we're both you and I are as transparent as they come when it comes to our wins and losses, and to me and you that matters. Unfortunately, it seems like a lot of gambling Twitter or X doesn't really give a shit about that, but that's not who we are. So we're here.
Gotta hit lottos.
Yeah, hit lottos and put the lotto in the bag, sir. So
Clickbait and all that, but
yeah,
we can talk more about this over the off season. It's going to be a long off season. I'm going to certainly enjoy the break.
yeah.
I wish we had
It's
like
a good
12
mental
NFL
reset,
games
if
to.
anything.
I'm definitely looking forward to that because it really is a grind to go through the games the way I do. But at the same time, I wish we had 12 games to look forward to this weekend. But yeah, I'm going to look forward to this betting break, gambling break, and reset a little bit, I think.
Yeah. If anything, it's a good mental reset. So
Will be for me.
we'll get to the Super Bowl now, which I think probably most people here are maybe the most
Been on
curious
here for
about.
58 minutes.
Just want to repop this up for both you and I. Any Super Bowl ladders? I know you have one that both you and I like. So we're gonna spit this out here. But got the Super Bowl that everyone wanted, the Chiefs and the Eagles here. It's a rematch of 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I think now.
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago. Okay, I'm off with my math.
2023.
Okay, yeah. So it should be a tight game. I spent
my sweatshirt on because I am an Eagles fan. My sweatshirt over here.
Yeah,
I'm not wearing it.
Dude, old school logo too.
I think it's a compliment that not too many people know who my favorite team is, but I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
I'd say most people
have a
think you're a Bucs
team
fan,
I would prefer to win.
Yeah, I'd say most people think you're
I've been
a Bucs fan.
4 NFL games in my life, and they've all been in Tampa. I love going down to Tampa. I've got some friends down there. I go down just about every year and try to hit up a Bucs game when I can if the Bucs are in town. So
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa's a great city, great stadium. So I have not been to an Eagles game in my life. That's something I need to do sometime. But I do like the Bucs. I like a few different teams, but no, the Eagles are my number one team.
Okay. So we
I'm
will.
an Eagles fan my entire life. I'm not a bandwagon. I just don't care too much what they do anymore, to be honest. Because I went 20-something years without thinking they're going to win a Super Bowl. And yeah, it's fun talking shit in middle school and high school. Oh, the Eagles don't have any Super Bowls. The Giants have 4. And I was just happy to see one Super Bowl for the Eagles. I didn't think I would see one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have a say in this game. I would prefer the Eagles to win. That would make me a lot happier.
Yeah.
I'm an Eagles fan.
Now the Giants are the biggest dog shit team on the planet, and the Eagles are obviously far superior.
Oh, sure, I heard that all middle school, high school.
Yeah.
Oh, the Patriots, the Giants, Steelers. I mean,
yeah.
Hell, even the Cowboys.
Got the last laugh at least. So let's just get into the game, I guess. How do you think this game plays out?
Well, I am biased because I'm an Eagles fan, but I like the Eagles to win. I think they are really in every aspect except for quarterback. They're the better team, especially in the trenches. And I trust the Eagles' offensive line against anybody.
Yeah.
I trust their defensive line too against just about anybody. But very clear advantages, I think, and just about everywhere but quarterback. Kind of said all. I think we both said all season that what are the Chiefs 15-2 right now or 16-2? They're not as good as the record. I mean, whatever it is, they're not.
Yeah.
That good. Of course, they have the best quarterback in the game and a Hall
Right.
of Fame head coach. I mean, they're a good team, but they're not one of the top 2 teams in the league. They just have the winning edge with the Hall of Fame quarterback, Hall of Fame head coach, enough pieces on offense,
Yep.
solid enough defense. But no, the Eagles are very much the better team here, which I guess you kind of get with the line. The line's a little bit weird. I mean, I guess the Chiefs are rightfully the favorite with Mahomes, but
I think the one thing too, I guess I've been pushing around is how stiff is the Chiefs' run defense going to be against the Eagles? Obviously, the Eagles have had some passing issues, maybe the last month, I guess. I think you'd probably agree with maybe the time-ish there, but bare minimum, the playoffs, they have not been great in the passing game. So I just wonder, the thing I can't decide on is, are the Chiefs going to sell out for the run and just tell Hurts, more or less tell Hurts?
I think so.
I do too. I think people are going to look at Saquon and his yards on the year, and I think they're just going to be like, Saquon over Rush. I'd be honest, I think it's an under there.
Like 115.5.
Yeah, I don't.
Like that. I mean, yeah, I would lean the under there. I'm not betting either way. I'm not.
It's 109 yards.
Yeah, I think that got bet down just a little bit, but either way, that's a very easy pass. I mean, I wouldn't even bet the alt line there.
Yeah.
Just because like you said, I think the Eagles pass more than they have the past month or so.
I think they're going to
have to, and I think they have success. I think Devontae has a good game, probably Goddard too. But again, we were talking like 45 minutes ago, like A.J. Brown is the best Eagles receiver against man defense, but he has an extremely tough matchup.
Yeah.
I think that Devontae or Dallas Goddard will be the play in the Eagles receiving game. I mean, AJ could have a good game, of course. He's the top receiver in the league, but I just have that feeling about Devontae. I did not bet Devontae yet, but I was wondering if we want to come up with a parlay in this game. It's one of my favorite legs, one of my favorite bets. I mean, I like Goddard and Devontae over receiving.
Yeah.
I just haven't bet either yet, but yeah, I do think the Eagles have to pass a little bit more than they have, and I think they have success doing it.
The reason I haven't really bet much on them is because I just don't know how the Eagles are going to come in mentally. Are they going to?
I mean, that's fair to say.
Because you could get like the Ryan Day big dick energy type thing where they think we got the better running back. We're gonna fucking establish the run.
For props, it really could be.
Yeah, I don't know
how the clock. I think the Chiefs might do the same if they have any kind of success running it.
Yeah.
The Eagles love to have those 7-8 minute drives, and they might kill just a lot of props in this game.
Yeah.
If the Eagles play how they want to play, that's how they prefer to play. I don't think they're exactly going to be able to just run for 5 yards of carry like that and kill the clock. But if they had their preference, that's how they like to play this game. Slow and methodical, and keep Mahomes off the field.
I don't think they're going to be able to do that. Again, maybe that's why I haven't bet anything, because the play I probably like the most is Saquon receiving, but I want to see if they've accepted prior to the start of the game that the Chiefs are going to be probably all out to stop the run, and how hard-headed they are. If
they're going to run one, you're right. They're going to run either way, but
yeah,
you would assume
if they're so hard-headed on it, then it may not even matter, and you're going to get the better. My thought is, I think the Eagles are going to try and come out and establish the run, knowing that the Chiefs are going to try and stop the run. And I think that they're going to be a little hard-headed. In this line of Saquon at 14.5 you're probably going to be able to catch it maybe 7.5, 8.5,
maybe
before they try and start passing it up to him. Just because the thing will be too, if the Chiefs get ahead and they're still struggling to move the ball, then they're going to, say it's halftime, they're going to have to come out and do something different. But the risk obviously is if the Eagles have already accepted that the Chiefs are going to be all out on the run, and their best option, which is to come out passing the ball more, throwing the Chiefs off so then that they can then run the ball after the fact. So you may miss it. I don't know, but I'm willing to take that chance. FanDuel and the books have had 2 weeks to sharpen iron on these fucking lines. So, I don't know. I'm just very hesitant of really putting a lot of money down, except for one particular bet, which I believe you made as well, which was a TD prop.
Well, you did say something interesting, and I've kind of always thought of the Super Bowl like two different games. For very odd reason, I remember. I mean, what is it, like 30 minutes for the halftime and the Super Bowl? I mean, that's a very big factor because, of course, NFL players are such a habit of routine, and some of these guys treat it like it's two different football games. They go to shower and redress and get ready for almost like it's a new football game. So, yeah, when you say it like that, I do think about Super Bowl like two different games, and I'm not sure I'm going to live bet necessarily. Maybe if my bet does hit, I think we both bet Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown.
Sure did.
That's Jalen Hurts, the only bet I've made so far for this game. I bet him anytime, first touchdown, 2+, 3+. Shopped around for the best odds. I don't think FanDuel had the best odds for 3+, but that's just a little fun sprinkle. I don't think he'll get. Well, he had 3 in the first Super Bowl. He had 3 last week or 2 weeks ago. But I'm pretty confident he's scoring anytime. That's my number one bet. I know you said a couple weeks ago on the show that Saquon was something like -185, like he is this week, and you thought that Jalen Hurts could be the same price, or maybe even flipped. I feel like Saquon could probably be closer to -130, and Jalen Hurts could be closer to -200.
Yeah,
I think you could probably flip those pretty easily, and it makes sense. But yeah, Jalen Hurts at that price, I'll take that absolutely, especially for Saquon's birthday. I mean, main character syndrome. Jalen Hurts. Saquon's going to get tackled at the 1-yard line. Everybody's betting Saquon. I mean, there's just too many avenues for Jalen Hurts, especially against Kansas City's defense. They're great against running backs. I don't think very many running backs have scored on them this season. It's only I think maybe 4 or 5 that have scored at all. Granted, Saquon's in a different category. He's elite, but I do like Jalen Hurts a lot. The score.
Yeah, that's
first 2+, 3+.
I didn't. So I was a little more reserved. I didn't bet the first and the 2+, 3+.
Well, first was a free bet, that King of the End Zone bet.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
absolutely bet him 2+ at +650, I think.
Yeah. I just.
If I did 2+, might as well do 3+.
Yeah. I just put 3 units on anytime. That's the most confident I just felt on anything, is that he's getting in the end zone. Who knows?
He's scoring.
He may score in the second half, and you may get a better price. I don't know, and if he hasn't scored in the first half, I may even think.
If he scores in the first half, I probably would have a live bet.
Yes, That's fair. If he does score in the first half, I'll have a live bet for sure.
Honestly, I might have a live bet either way, depending on how the game goes. But yeah, but the Super Bowl really is two different games. I feel like, especially when you think about how the Eagles played the last Super Bowl 2 years ago. Man, they could have been up at halftime like 17 points or something, and just kind of unraveled their last few minutes of the second quarter. And of course, Chiefs won, so it was a tale of two halves. Not that, I mean, every kind of football game is a tale of two halves, but especially the Super Bowl when you got a very long halftime and players got out of their routines, and I don't know, maybe they have to get some kind of fluids, have to stretch, do something they normally wouldn't have to. They're in there thinking, they're hearing Kendrick Lamar, and I don't know. I think a lot goes into the Super Bowl like that. The mental aspect for the players, I feel like it's way different because, I mean, it's the biggest game of their life too. I mean,
true.
A lot goes into the Super Bowl that we don't quite count for probably. The mental aspect of these players, not that these guys aren't mentally strong, and of course the Chiefs have been here, but I mean the Eagles have been here too, but
right.
Super Bowl is two different games in one. So yeah, if Jalen Hurts scores first and passes two of those plays in one, yeah, I'll have a different play.
Yeah.
Just see how the game goes, and honestly, if you get a good price on either team, if they go down 7-0, you could probably bet either way. I think we said that a few times about these playoff games. I don't think I've actually taken my own advice there, but I'm sure if you get like a +4.5 on the Chiefs, people would love that. I mean, I think the Eagles could win by 10 points, to be honest, but
yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask you is if the Eagles got up, say 10-0 or something.
If they're really running the ball that well, the Eagles could win this game by 10 points.
Yeah,
just because I think they have so many advantages. They have advantages both lines, secondary, linebackers. I mean, really everywhere except quarterback, which is of course the biggest aspect of the game. But
right
when you got a top 3 quarterback all time, top 5 quarterback all time for sure.
So if they get up like that, though, are you feeling good about then taking the Chiefs live on the spread?
I mean, if Jalen Hurts is the one that scores, then maybe, yeah.
Right.
I'll probably take a good look at halftime. Honestly, probably either team you could bet at halftime, the underdog, whoever's the underdog at halftime, probably.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, as I say that, I'm thinking about what that'll be like over the past 15 Super Bowls if you just blindly bet the losing team at halftime. I'm thinking weren't the 49ers up last year?
They were up. They were up.
I'm pretty sure you could probably blindly just bet the underdog at halftime. I feel like that might be
that.
If you just blindly bet it.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea depending on whoever is losing at that point. But
although the other thing,
especially if Kansas City's losing, but
you got to be careful about that because there's been some decent blowouts in the Super Bowl too.
Well, Chiefs and Tampa Bay,
right,
4 seasons ago.
Yep. Now it's not.
I don't think that's quite the same as 4 seasons ago because I think the Chiefs had like 2 or 3 starters on the offensive line now. But
yeah,
I mean, there's a huge mismatch there. I think on both lines for the Eagles and Kansas City.
Right.
Which I think is the difference in this game. But of course, Mahomes can do his thing, and maybe you get another holding call or something that helps. And I've watched enough Kansas City to know how that kind of thing goes if you give Mahomes a chance.
Mahomes is fucking annoying is the problem, right? He could be down 10, 14 points, and that's nothing. He'll fucking find a way to come back somehow.
He's a top 5 quarterback all time at the least.
Yeah, he's a top 5 fucking dickhead is what he is. But
some people say he's even higher than top 5. But
yeah. So.
And if he wins the Super Bowl, if he wins Sunday, he's gonna have even better chance to be in that actual GOAT conversation.
With Brady and such, yeah, agreed.
I don't think he's. Well, I'm not going to say that because I was kind of a Tom Brady hater most of my life, but now I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. I really respect him, especially since he went to the Bucs.
Do you think
that Super Bowl with the Bucs? I think that really changed my perception on him.
Yeah. Do you think
It's
more
one of the
people
most impressive
hate the
Super Bowls
Chiefs?
I've seen.
Do you think more people hate the Chiefs versus hated the Patriots?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, to be honest. That's maybe if the Chiefs win this week, maybe if they win Sunday, but
Yeah.
it's definitely similar. Yeah, that's a good question.
No.
I don't know if the Chiefs have technically cheated. I mean, however you want to say it, they get help from the officials at opportune times.
right. Yeah.
I don't know if they've actually quote unquote cheated, but they get help from the officials when they need it or when it benefits them,
Yes. Which
which
is
is what
why
pisses people
I
off.
think why more people are annoyed. And it's the way that they treat Mahomes with the bullshit fucking roughing the passer.
Well, that's something too. Like the way Mahomes
Yeah.
slows down at the sideline to try to get contact, try to get a hit.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of like bush league kind of stuff. But
Yes.
it's smart. It works every time.
Yeah.
Like he slows down to try to get a hit instead of going out of bounds. And
See, I think
8-yard
that's
scramble, you get 15 extra yards. I mean, it's
Yeah.
smart. It works. Like, why would he not do it if it works?
well. See,
I think the NFL is going to talk about that this offseason. I think they said something about it.
yeah. I was talking about this
Trying
with
to-
some other people.
Trying to bait somebody into a flag like that.
It's my problem with it
The
is
master baiter.
yeah. My problem just personally with it is just that he's taking advantage of sportsmanship, which is, whether that's, against the rules or not, it's a piece of shit thing to do where you're acting like you're going to go out, you're going to go out of bounds and then you go get more yards and then someone finally fucking hits you roughly and you kind of flop out of bounds like a fucking.
I mean, it's awful for a defender.
Yeah. So
You
it's,
can't hit him. You can't. If you don't hit him, I don't know. It's tough.
yeah, I don't know.
But the Chiefs haven't cheated as far as we know.
No. Yeah.
The Patriots did kind of cheat.
I think it's just
How
the
severe
way
they did. I mean,
it's just the way that personally Mahomes carries himself with, like I said, with the fake sliding or the fake going out of bounds. And, your point could be like, well, the other 31 quarterbacks have the same opportunity to do it. But my point or my stance on that is, yeah, well, the other 31 quarterbacks respect sportsmanship and the fact that the other guys aren't going to fucking decleat them. So, if you want to be a dickhead and take advantage of the thing, then by all means do that thing, but people ain't gonna like you for it. So,
it's kind of like the NBA. They had that conversation when the offensive players trying to initiate the contact like that.
Yeah.
The NBA tried to fix that, like Trae Young or James Harden, the way they would bait the defender to try to the offensive player try to get the contact.
Yeah, they do like a step back and then like jump into them bullshit. Yeah.
I mean, they'll step back and like stop and make sure the defender runs into him. I mean, it's the same kind of concept. I think the NFL is going to talk about it. But
yeah,
as far as we know, Patrick Mahomes has not cheated. I mean,
true.
The Chiefs have not cheated as far as we know.
Yeah.
Deliberately themselves. Whether the league gives them more holding calls and pass interference and all that maybe a different conversation.
Right.
The stats actually haven't backed that up, but of course we watch the games and know if the Chiefs need a holding call, they're going to get it. They need the pass interference. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Oh God, yeah. It's almost a lock. So
I can think of a few different games in my head as I think about that.
Yeah. So
when they're in the Super Bowl that last time, a ticky-tack holding call, not every team gets that call in that kind of situation, but it's kind of a 50-50 judgment call, and the Chiefs are on the right side there.
Mm-hmm. So I guess to wrap it up, I know you said you had a ladder, and we actually got the question about a ladder. What is your ladder that you like for this game?
Oh, my ladder was Jalen Hurts touchdowns, anytime and first, and then 2+ and 3+.
The one ladder
for the best odds.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the odds are now actually because I bet it like a week ago, but I think plus 650 for 2, plus 3,400 for 3.
The one ladder I was kicking around was as the one I
for so long.
What's that? Oh, your iPods died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we both agree that Jalen Hurts is the best chance of any player to score, and
yes,
Saquon's somewhere around minus 185, and Hurts is somewhere around minus 115. I got minus 105, but I think you and I would both agree you could probably flip that and This is confident as a play as I am in this game. I think
Yeah.
you agree with that.
Yes.
It's
I
probably a
do.
fun play to root for. Somebody's going to get tackled at the 1 yard line. You know it's going to happen.
My
I'm gonna
ladder
go
is,
for
I guess I haven't really decided, but it's mostly probably going to revolve around Saquon in receiving yards. You know, he's at 14 and a half. There's some games there where he's got up in the 30s and 40s. I don't know that he's going to get that high. So then I was kind of kicking around Samaji P. Ryan.
Yeah.
His line too is very weird to me, where it's like 7.5 or something like that. What has it moved at all? Missed it.
Trying to pull it up now.
It's still 7.5. I like that play a lot too, but I feel like that's one also that you could probably get live and get slightly better. But you know, he's covered that line essentially. The last 20 games here, he's only missed it 3 times. So, last 10, he's only missed it 1, which was against Houston. But he had 17 against Buffalo, 13 against Denver, 20 against Pittsburgh. The problem is the ladder options for someone that's kind of lower like that aren't that great. Because I believe the lowest ladder option you're going to get is 25 yards.
Yeah.
So that's not really how I would want to ladder him. If you have the your way, that's probably an option you could do, where you could bet him you could bet his regular line, and then you could bet him 10, 15, 20. I don't even know what those would be, because the your way thing is just not. Everyone doesn't have that, so it's kind of a not a cop out per se, but it's just not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, as low as 25's 430, so that's pretty good. But that's probably a little high for my opinion. I'd probably only go to 20 or something. Be my maybe max on P. Ryan or something. I don't know. What's your thoughts? Who do you think is maybe the better option on them, P. Ryan or Barkley?
Honestly, it depends who you'd like to win this game. I feel like they both could hit.
True.
I mean, I like the Eagles, so I feel like P. Ryan's a great player. I mean, I think Barkley receiving is also a great play. But yeah, I think that P. Ryan could definitely get a bigger role. I expected a bigger role last week. He didn't cash until the very last play last week.
Yeah.
3rd and 8 or whatever it was. They had a cute little play for him to get wide open, and he had 15 yards or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to take the last play for him to cash his yards this week.
For instance, if you played him 10, that's plus 113. 15 is 184. 20 is 281.
That's a good look, especially if you like the Eagles.
Yeah, because they may have to be passing the ball in more dump off situations. So
that's another good line betting opportunity.
Yeah, the only problem is you can't really. I don't think you can use your way live, right?
I don't think so. At least not yet. Yeah, but that's the thing with the Chiefs, and that's why I haven't been a Chief prop. There's just a lot of options on that receiving game.
Yeah.
Even somebody like Juju Smith-Schuster. He had a nice game against the Bills. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't been involved in the playoffs, but yeah, I feel like DeAndre Hopkins could be that X factor. Or hell, even Noah Gray. That's the thing. There's
I was just about to say Noah Gray.
Then Noah Gray or DeAndre Hopkins. Of course, everyone's going to bet Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy, but
yeah,
just so many options. Hollywood Brown. And then you had P. Ryan out of the backfield. I mean, that's how I felt about the Chiefs all season. There's just so many options. I don't like to guess very often. I don't think I guess very often, but I think there's a little bit of guessing work to try to figure out the Chiefs offense. I mean, with all the running backs, if you have to guess Pacheco, Pacheco's at 21.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
I think that's at 43.5. I would guess that Pacheco gets a lot more work than he did last week. He had a fumble, but I think Pacheco's, I don't know, probably better running back than Kareem Hunt, to be honest, but
yeah,
he hasn't fumbled, and he's been healthy. Pacheco hasn't been healthy, but with the Chiefs, you have to guess a little bit. Just so many options. Like there's 10 different guys that can score for them if you want to try to come up with a touchdown parlay. I mean, Kelsey's plus 125, but like 6 guys like plus 300 or lower for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't.
Juju, Noah Gray, DeAndre Hopkins.
If I'm going for a TD prop, I'm not going Kelsey. I'd probably go like Noah Gray.
I mean, I like DeAndre Hopkins at plus 600.
I do like Noah Gray, or not. DeAndre Hopkins for a
plus
touchdown.
600. That's one of my favorite lotto layers. I like Devontae and DeAndre Hopkins. I haven't bet either yet, but I think that's a little play for me.
You like Devontae over AJ Brown?
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Eagles. You kind of have a lot of options too, but I do like Devontae. I just got that feeling about Devontae. It's a little bit of a homecoming. I don't think narratives quite matter like that in the Super Bowl, but
yeah,
Devontae's a big game player. Not that AJ Brown isn't, but I just got that feeling about Devontae.
I'm sure the first touchdown is going to be this weird, obscure fucking dude.
Who's that?
I said, I'm sure the first touchdown is going to be some weird, obscure person.
It's Noah Gray.
Yeah, like
Kenneth Gainwell.
Maybe the play is Hopkins and fucking Noah Gray or some shit for touchdowns.
Well, I do think this will be a lotto for me. A little fun play. Devontae, DeAndre, anytime. 2-leg. Yeah, I'm going to put in a few fun plays, fun parlays, because it's the end of the season. I'm going to risk a unit or so on a couple more fun plays, but
yeah.
Jalen Hurts, that's my more confident, my most serious play.
Yeah, you could throw him in anyways, right? He's still minus 115. You could do like
I don't think I'm going to do this because my whole day rides on Jalen Hurts scoring, but
wow, yeah, that's true.
I'll put in a few fun plays. Other than Jalen Hurts, I like Devontae and DeAndre Hopkins. For those odds, especially at plus 600, plus 240. Those look very good to me.
Yeah, if you wanted to get someone in there, Hunt. I mean, he scored the last 3 games.
If I had to pick one Kansas City Chief, it would probably be Kareem Hunt, but I'm just confident enough to even bet Kareem Hunt. Because I like the Eagles secondary so much, I think they can contain Xavier Worthy enough. That's why I think it's going to be somebody else, Noah Gray or Hopkins.
If you did something like this, Hunt, Hopkins, and Smith, that's 4,600.
I'll put in a few fun bets, fun parlays.
Yeah.
Besides Jalen Hurts, I don't want to have my entire day
potentially ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll do that with my plays, not completely destroy my entire day because of one play, and have it destroy like every parlay.
He could really just.
I mean, I'm very confident he scores, of course, but
right.
Potentially he doesn't score. I don't want it to ruin every single play.
He could just make it
minus 185. The best value ever, probably.
Right.
Even though I would like him to score, but not at minus 185.
No.
For Saquon.
That's way too juiced to really get anything out of. So.
Yeah, not worth it there for Saquon.
No. So.
I mean,
all right.
Probably does send up for the price.
Yeah.
Take Jalen over Saquon to score. Devontae and DeAndre as a long shot. Or Noah Gray. I mean, even Dallas Goedert, Hollywood Brown, there's just a lot of options. I don't think there's going to be too many touchdowns in this game. I think at first I like the over, but more I think about it, I do like the under 48.5.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of leaning too. Is I think this game's going to be more under, so that's why I almost am hesitant on the anytime touchdown props, is because they're fun, but it's likely just going to be you setting your money on fire.
Likely.
Yeah.
Either way, Jalen Hurts get in the end zone.
His ass is getting,
So many ways for Jalen Hurts to score.
Yeah.
He can break
maybe they'll do imagine him like doing a sweep to fucking Barkley and he runs off the side and Barkley passes it to him for a touchdown, and that's the way that cashes.
I don't think so, but
I don't either, but it'd be funny. it'd be funny to say the least.
So I
All
don't
right.
think the Eagles have anything more in this game.
Yeah, I feel like
I
we've
do like
beat
the
this
Eagles
one
to
to
pass
death.
more than lines would show. I think Jalen Hurts has a good passing game because they probably have to pass a little bit more than they would like to. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that this game could go. I think that both of these teams will want to play a little bit more slow and methodical, especially the Eagles, and try to keep Mahomes off the field. But
Yeah.
I do like that under 48.5. I feel like this is a 24-20 type game.
Yeah.
24-21 Eagles. That's what I'll go with. 24-21 Eagles.
Yeah. The one other kind of sneaky TD bet that I do like is Mahomes to get in. Unfortunately.
Plus 400. That's, I think, good value there.
Yeah.
I like that
I
one.
just,
I was looking at it.
I just can see him because he had 2 touchdowns the last game, so I can just see him kind of not. I don't think he scores twice, but I just kind of have a feeling that he's gonna maybe try and bully his way in there or something. It's pretty much
like that
plus
value.
400 across the board, so it's not a bad shot. And I'm sure there's, other than FanDuel, there's probably some good TD boosts, I would imagine, I guess, on some of the other books like MGM or something like that.
Yeah.
So something to think about.
Good promos to look into.
Yeah.
I'll
Make
have
sure you shop
promos.
lines.
It's sweat for $25, but
Yeah.
they do have that touchdown promo. So does DraftKings, that King of the End Zone. Of course, if you bet Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, you're not going to win it. The longest touchdown. I don't think either of those players going to have the longest one, but FanDuel has if the player scores the first touchdown or the last touchdown, you get bonus bets. Which
That
I
might
think
be.
that looks like a good promo.
Yeah.
If your player scores the first or the last touchdown to get some bonus bets. I mean, it's going to be Noah Gray first touchdown, so nobody's going to win that promo, but
It was always Noah Gray, as Trent would say.
And if Kenneth Gainwell scores, I think he was very good in the last Super Bowl, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Kenneth Gainwell, I know he did have a great playoff run 2 years ago in the playoffs. Oh, I do remember now, Kenneth Gainwell, he was a foot short scoring the first touchdown. I remember that now that I say that. And I bet it too. It was plus 4,000 or something.
Yeah.
He was a foot short. They actually called it a touchdown at first, and then they reversed it. So I remember that. Yeah, that's why Kenneth Gainwell first touchdown scorer.
That's
And he didn't
actually
score again after they reversed it. He was a foot short.
it's actually sickening, to be honest.
Yeah, that brought back that memory. That was a fun 20 seconds when I thought he scored. Plus 4,000 or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah. Boy, if just to wrap it up, if you did like a 3-leg Devontae Smith, Patrick Mahomes, and say DeAndre Hopkins or something, that's plus 10,000. Boy, if you were really wanting to look
$2 on it, so last game of the season, I might do that.
yeah,
I might just put in a few crazy lotto combinations.
yeah, you could do and have some fun with it, man. I mean, this is what you're here to do.
Just have some fun
Yeah.
with it.
I
don't think it's super crazy. I'm going a little bit more than I would normally bet for Jalen Hurts, but
yeah,
it's fun
personally,
for
what
me.
I
It's trying to have fun. It's the last game of the football season.
yep.
We're gonna miss this.
Personally,
If you're
gonna bet a TD Lotto, please do a round robin because you'll be kicking yourself when, say 3 of your 4 legs hit and you didn't, round robin it, and you could have made some decent money. So
we can add that to the list of things to
round
learn.
robins,
Round robins.
Yes. So
More unders, more round robins. Season long unders.
yeah.
Futures. Focus on unders for futures.
All
Try to
right.
hit that parlay. There's some nice parlays this season, but some heartbreaking ones.
Yeah. Well,
A lot of heartbreaking one-leg losses.
that's all I got for tonight. Is there anything else you got?
So I'm at plus 47 units for the NFL season. I'm not extremely happy about that. I guess it's a good season. It's well in the green, but I think Did not have my. I know I did not have my best season. I wish I would have put my best performance. I did not do that this season.
Yeah.
After 108 units last season, I mean, I switched my unit size, so technically I did have fairly similar season, but it doesn't feel like it. It did not feel like
Right.
it was not the most fun season ever because I put myself in a pretty decent hole in September and had to climb my way out, but I did it. Plus 47 units. It's a good season. I'm not happy about it today, maybe in a week or two, and I really think about how the season went. I'll be happy about it, but I wish I did a little bit more this season. I wish it was a better season, but it's fun being on here with Cory on What's the Play, and I think we have gotten better with this kind of thing over the season. It's been a lot of fun. I feel like it's been beneficial for both of us. Hopefully we've cashed other people out, and maybe we can share some of our knowledge. I think we did that today with our season recap and things we've learned, but it's fun doing this thing.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the off season, but I'm sure gonna miss it at the same time.
Well, Lucas, thanks for joining as always, everyone. Thanks for listening as you always do, and thanks for the questions. I love when people comment and add questions. That's kind of my favorite part is just interact. There's 76 of you watching right now. It's not a ton, but hey, we appreciate you all the same, and love when, like I said, I love when you ask questions because just to me it means you're enjoying the content. So that's the win there. So we'll be back next week, most likely. I would assume so, to kind of recap the Super Bowl, go over the things that we talked about, and probably just discuss. It'll probably be a shorter show, would be my guess, maybe like 30-ish, 40 minutes or something like that, to kind of go over what our plan will be for moving forward in the off season. And if anyone has questions or ideas on things that they would like us to discuss, in between NFL and college football season, please reach out to us. Either ask questions live or, send us DMs, tweet at us, whatever. We'll answer. And, we want people to listen in and feel like they're just getting something out of the show. So that's all I got, Lucas.
We have fun doing it, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I agreed. So
if it helps me, I'll do it. I think it was helpful for me this season.
Yep. I agree. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening in. We will see you next week.
Jalen Hurts anytime. First touchdown, 2+, 3+. We're good. And the
Let's
season
catch it, baby. Let's catch it. See y'all next week.
See ya.